Hi there. Welcome to this Odds On Models demo video for our new same race multi-product that we've built recently. This is the first of three videos. This first one's going to primarily look at the product and the markets. The second one will look directly at the scratchings. We have some new functionality for scratchings, which is why we can offer so many markets. We'll give some indications of that. And then the third one video, we'll look at pricing, just to show some of the nuances about how we leverage a win book to, get all the permutation prices and sharpen them for things like uncompetitive races or race style of certain horses or dogs, whatever it is that the product's being used for at that time. So this data you can see on the screen now is for the 158 race at Ayr on Friday, the 19th of September, 2025. I took these consensus prices about 20 minutes before the race. So they're not any particular bookies. They're just kind of, for this demo. So on this first place here, these are the odds that I found for all these horses. So on this page, you get the exact odds from the win book. So we don't override anything there. We don't use any probabilities because you don't want to be a different price here than you would be in your win book. So let's just go down through some of the markets now. So a lot of the bookies are doing these things now. So second, third and fourth place. If you look just, for example, at fourth place, just the nature of these things. For the win book, obviously, there's quite a lot of discrepancy here between the shortest and the longest, from 325 to 23 in decimal odds. But here it's a bit of a run of the mill for fourth place, and it's just by the time we've got down there, there's a lot of uncertainty. But we also do the places, so the top two. Obviously, this is a lower price down to the top four, where now some of these favourites are very short indeed. As I said in the pricing video, we'll look at how we can kind of change these depending on what type of race it is. But for now, I think we just, have a look at the markets. We can also do basically all these kind of tote style markets here. On this singles view, we're just being offered them as a single pair for the first two in market order. So the most likely first two here is Reciprocated to beat Amarim, which is a price of 11 decimal. The other way round, it's 12, slightly different. In this view, I think at the moment, I'm showing all options up to 500 to 1 here. There's configurables here. You can either say how many you want to show, say 30 or 50 markets, or, what's the max odds you want to see here. So maybe you don't have too many options. We've also got the first three, which is, like a trifecta, tri-cast type bet. Higher odds here for the shortest one because now, you've got to get the first three in the correct order. And if we go down to the next market, obviously we're showing a lot here because we've gone to the 500 to 1. So, if we didn't want that many, we could have just said show 50 or whatever. Then the first four, the shortest one of these is 200 to 1 now, in these particular four in this order. If you look back at the prices, these will be the four shortest in the betting. At the moment, the settings are all basic in the pricing. So the shortest four price-wise will be, the shortest odds. That may change with some of the more sophisticated settings that I'll show in a third pricing video. So going down, we also do the reverse bets. So first two any order. So now Reciprocated and Amarim, either way round, it's roughly half the price, what it was when you took the specific order. So we've got the first for the same for the first three and the first four. We also do some other tote style bets. So two for the first three. This is an easier one to win because your two selections just have to be anywhere in the top three. So three of these bets will win, first and second, first and third, and second and third. That's why, these odds are shorter here. We've also done two from first four and three from first four, which I don't think are standard tote bets anywhere at the moment. So we've also got bet without market. So this is just naturally betting without the favourite here, which is this without the horse Reciprocated. Now we've also got a lot of these over-under markets here. The reason we've built these is for, people who like a 50-50 bet. There's certain kind of bettors who like to find something, that's kind of close to a toss of a coin. So here for first place, because the first two in the betting are the two favourites, the 50-50 line here, or the closest one, is actually quite low. It's at 2.5. I think they were 3.25 and 4, so that kind of makes sense. If we go down to that the fourth place over under, this is more 50-50 now in the middle, because as we said, it's just it's much more random for who comes fourth. We've also got some funky ones, like you can add up top 2, 3, 4 places, and you can even do stuff like the product, so which is first times second times third, and these have quite high numbers: first times second times third times fourth. The 50-50 line here, and look, it's almost exactly 50-50, is 96.5. This number can be very big. So like in a handicap race with 24 runners, it can be in the thousands, maybe even in the tens of thousands if the high numbered horses are fancied. But again, being able to offer this, whether it's too quirky or not, would be up for a bookie to decide themselves. But our scratchings stuff that I'll go into in the second video is why we can offer just really funky stuff like this. We've also got some insure bet stuff here as the final thing. So, money back for second and third, or, money back for second or third, or second, third, or fourth here. So that view is fairly standard, I guess. It's similar to what you can see with other bookmakers. But if I move now to this exotic tab, this is, I think, where our product probably, innovates and shows more functionality than anything else that we've seen to date. If I pick on the winner now, I can basically pick as many of these selections as I like and effectively do a Dutch bet on them without having to, actually do the Dutch bet of working out all these different amounts, to bet on them to get to a certain amount. I simply pick these three. So I can now bet those three at a combined odds of 1.7. Obviously, it's got the two favourites there and another one that's not a complete outsider. So I can just put, £5 or £10 on that or whatever, and it's indifferent to me which of those win, simply because I've just covered them all in that particular bet. You can do the same for the positions, first to second, to become exactly second in a race. You've got all these kind of different combinations here. But let's go to the first two now. So this is the Australian Exacta, what's called, the straight forecast in other places. So if I just pick a simple one, this is the same one I think we looked at earlier, the favourite. So this is decimal price of 11, which is, reciprocated to beat Amarim again. As you'll see, the price will always be the same in this product for all equivalent bets. So, if you were to bet the first two added up under 3.5, that would be the reverse one, wouldn't it, actually? But yeah, any combination of the under-over bets, would come out with effectively the same price. So let me go a bit funky now. Then I'm going to put a few extra combinations in. So I've now got either 1 or 2 to win and 2, 3 or 4 to be, 2, 4 or 5 to come second. So the combination of those bets comes out at this odds of 4.6. So again, you could have $10 or whatever on that to win 46, and it wouldn't matter so long as any of the combinations there, with these being first and these being second. So it wouldn't matter if the most likely one happened or the least likely one happened. But we've also got this other way where you can look at combinations of the bets that you kind of selected here. So if I look at, there's 5 different unique lines here. There's 5 rather than 6 because 2 is in both positions. So if we just look quickly, we've got 1 to beat 2, 1 to beat 4, and 1 to beat 5, and 2 to beat 4, and 2 to beat 5. So if we look at these odds now, the shortest one, again, is the 1 to beat 2. We seem to be coming back to that bet a lot. But the least likely one is this Amarim to beat Bylor. So if we just look back why that is. So Bylor obviously is quite a big price here. And Amarim was the second favourite. So if you were to place £1 on each of those bets, depending on which of the combinations won, So £1 on each of them, you'd only get back £11 if it was that most likely one, but you'd get £41 if it was the one at the bottom. Whereas compare that with putting £5 on this at 4.6, so you'd get back 23 regardless of which of your combinations won. So real nice flexibility here. You can basically do that for any of your bets. So if we look now at first four, I'll just pick these first four here, look. So that's a 250 to 1 shot. Again, let's maybe make a pattern, why not? So here now, with that pattern now, so it's a bit of a funny one. 1 and 4 have to be first and fourth, and 2 and 3 have to be second and third. That bet comes out at 100 to 1. Again, there's 4 combinations here. There's basically, if we look up here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, and then 4, 2, 3, 1, and 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, if you just kind of want to place a speculative bet, you can have £1 on all of them. The extremes of the odds aren't as big here, from 250 to 500, as it was for the first two, with a kind of a long shot in there. Again, one of the nice things about this product is you can come up with prices that are quite high. So, let's pick some less likely ones in the positions. So now this one here with this 12 decimal to beat the 23, and then the two favourites, third and fourth, in this exact order, that's 4,500 to 1. So one of the things we like about this product is you're a bettor, you bet on that, you put £1 on that bet, you can run around and show your friends, look, wow, I'm going to win £4,500. If you do this bet on the tote, then it probably won't win, and you'll never know what you could have won. So it seems a strange thing, but it feels like this product has made losing kind of more exciting than the equivalent product that's out there now, the tote bet. So anyway, if I continue through this here, we've got all the same markets as before: first 2, 3, 4, the 2 from 3. So I won't go into too much detail with them. But we've also got here the bet without. So we showed that before. But now you can actually pick your own. It's quite flexible here. You can pick up to 3 to bet without. And then, so, here for some reason I've taken out 1, 2, and 5. And I want to bet 3. So 3 that is 9. It's now 4.6 with those 3 removed. If I don't remove that one, instead it goes up a bit to 5, obviously, because that was quite a big price, that one. Whereas if I take this one out, its price goes nearer to what it was. And you can Dutch these. So we've got a wacky bet now. We've got 3 or 4 to win without 2 or 5. Again, just to reiterate, it's the scratchings video that will show, give some indication of, why we can do this. So down the bottom again, we have all the over-under bets, kind of similar to the other side, actually. You just, it's just another view of those particular markets here, actually. We show it a bit different, and I think actually we may change this to show more options here on this one. So, as this is the exotic, maybe show all the options here, rather than kind of a 50-50 and one just either side. Just one other thing I'd like to show on the product side is if you consider we're going back to the singles mode now. So if you imagine a same game multi-better, say somebody who's used to betting on football that likes to do something like this, they go, right, I want that one to win, I want this one to be second, and I want, say, this one to be third. So now I've got 3 singles on my bet slip here, but I also have a builder. So this builder will be exactly that trifecta again. It will be, reciprocated to win, utmost respect to come second, and star material to come third. And that basically is odds of 300. So, with this product, we think there's a view, there's a UI that can, get people in from different walks of betting life. So you can take a same race multi guy like this. The over-unders can be attractive to a guy who likes 50-50s. The exotic mode, for a tote better, the list of first 2 down here is kind of like a pre-canned better, somebody who doesn't necessarily want to pick their own, but they'd like to pick from, the options you give them. So yeah, we think we've got a fairly impressive product offering here, and that's hopefully giving you some kind of an indication of that. Um, just to clarify, we can show American odds and we can show fractionals. Um, we can also show the probabilities. So if you want to see what we think the true probability is and what the book price is, these probabilities are here as well, and that's why this is kind of a bit of a hybrid between what a bettor might see and what a trader can use to effectively keep an eye on their prices. So yeah, so thanks for watching this first video. The next one will be about the scratchings and try and give some indication of why we can offer all these different combinations where other people haven't done that up until now. Hopefully see you on the next one.